What's up everyone, it's Bruce WAHA. Hope y'all are having a good day. On today's episode of Wingman Wednesday, we're going to be talking about working in a tri-service environment, what to expect, and the do's and don'ts. Now, if you've been in the military for a good minute, there's a good chance that you've worked in one of these environments. So you worked in close quarters with one of your fellow branches. Specifically, we're going to be touching base with the experience that I have had working with the Army and the Navy here at Transcom. But before we get started, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing here at Wild at Heart. Alright, let's get into it. Now, many airmen do ask themselves what it would be like to work in a different military branch, and the same could be said for the other branches as well in regards to being a part of the U.S. Air Force. So while working with other military branches, you may notice that we are very much alike in many ways and very different in others. And like I mentioned before, if you've been in the military for a good minute, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So be sure to list your comments and your tips as well down in the comments. Now, the definition of tri-service is a unit or organization that comprises of 3 military branches working together in close quarters to achieve a mission. Having to immediately engage a mission or act on a situation should be able to happen in the moment. In order to complete a specific mission, many times superior flexibility is a requirement to execute the mission and complete the mission as well. Our units are in constant movement around the world, land, air, and sea. So that means basically whenever a mission comes up or a situation comes up and a particular branch has reached the limit of its capabilities, in that moment in time a decision can be made where another branch can fill in and either progress the mission or even complete the mission. Now, the first thing that you want to do is learn the capabilities of each of the branches. Air Force by definition is air superiority, meaning that we primarily deal with fixed wing capabilities, being able to transport materials, personnel, or equipment in long transportation methods. The Navy is more sea-based, means that they have sea capabilities, they also have rotary capabilities, and they also have fixed wing capabilities as well. The thing that is usually limiting them is specific geographic locations in which they can execute, begin, or end a mission. The Army are the ground pounders. That means that they have all ground superiority. They can also transport rotary wing, but that has a very limited distance capability. Thus, they usually employ the Air Force to meet any kind of long-term transports that are required. So get to know their capabilities, get to know their mindset, get to know their culture, get to know the way that they communicate with each other, because much like regular conversation, nonverbals and specific wording go a long way into making sure that your communication with your fellow branch is effective. And be sure to know that just because a specific program, specific process works in your branch, it doesn't mean that it is the best course of action in all situations. That's the best thing about being a tri-service unit, is that you are able to assist each other whenever your branch's capabilities become limited. Next thing is learning their lingo, their rank structure, their unit structure, and other ways that they communicate with each other. Now, the enlisted rank structure pretty much stays consistent all the way through for most of the branches. Unfortunately, the Army does this weird thing with their specialists or corporal that I had multiple soldiers explain to me, and it still doesn't make sense to me. On the Navy side, the Navy decided just to take the officer rank structure of the other branches and just throw it away. If you're on a ship and you're an officer, you have a completely different officer rank structure that basically makes a captain a colonel, and it's just learn it. It'll be a lot better for you in the long run if you do, because the last thing you want to do is talk to a Navy captain as if they were an Air Force or an Army captain. Has it happened to me? No. Has it happened to other people? Absolutely, and it is very funny to watch as long as you're not on the receiving end of it. Now, the next piece of advice is learn their unit structure. It kind of helps better formulate what that person is trying to communicate to you, or you're trying to communicate to that individual. You're an airman, you already know flight, squadron, group, wing, etc. So be sure to familiarize yourself with the Army and the Navy or whatever branch that you're going to be serving with. And along the lines of communication, if you're having difficulty talking to someone of a different branch while exchanging information or communicating instructions, see if you can get someone from your own team that's of the same branch as that individual. Let the Army talk to Army, let the Navy talk to Navy. A lot of times miscommunication becomes detrimental to the mission and whatever you're trying to execute in that point in time. Communication is paramount, so do whatever you can to alleviate any instance of miscommunication. And like I mentioned before, be humble, be respectful, be professional, and know what guidance that your mission is falling under. Just because one location falls under a specific guidance doesn't mean that it is on the same level as the guidance that you're following. Many guidance can supersede each other just depending on what the mission is, what the location is, or whatever branch is leading that specific mission. Now the OGs are obviously the US Army and the US Navy. The US Continental Army was established in 1775. The US Continental Navy was established in 1775 as well. However, the US Army was established as the US Army in 1784, but the US Navy wasn't the US Navy established until 1794. The US Army created the Army Air Corps, which was in 1942. This went on to establish the United States Air Force in 1947. So a lot of our cultures, our rank structures, and a lot of our customs and courtesies come from each other. Now the Navy and the Marines, that's a bit different. While the Airman's Creed and the Soldier's Creed have a lot of similarities, the Navy, the Sailor's Creed, and the Rifleman's Creed of the U.S. Marine Corps differ greatly between the two. I do love the Rifleman's Creed because right off the bat they establish themselves as a different breed of military branch, and I love that. My brother is a Marine. I love him to death. I love the Marine culture. I love what they stand for. I love the brotherhood that they have. Now, all the U.S. forces have a rivalry with each other. In my immediate household, my brother's a Marine and I'm in the Air Force. So I send him crayons for Christmas. Anytime that I say I'm having a hard time, he'll mail me some straws saying, suck it up. It's a constant back and forth between not just people in my family, but also within my military family as well. It's healthy. Engage in it. Know where the boundaries are, but I mean, it's a family. So treat each other like family. Be respectful, be playful, poke fun where you like, but ultimately we're a family. We came here together to do something, to complete a mission, to execute a mission. So communicate with your fellow branches appropriately, and you're going to have a great time. So get to know the people in your unit. If you're in a tri-service unit, get to know the Marines on a personal level, get to know the sailors on a personal level, get to know the soldiers, get to know the, what do Coast Guard call themselves? Coasties, Space Force Guardians? I don't know what. I digress. Learn as much as you can about your fellow military branches. Learn as much as you can about your fellow military members. Don't let the mission be the only thing that brought you together. Well, everyone, I hope you found that information beneficial. Thanks for stopping by Wingman Wednesday. And like I mentioned before, if you worked in a tri-service environment or you worked closely with any of the other branches, be sure to leave your experience down in the comments below. Leave some tips, some tricks, some stories I'd love to read. I'm Bruce with WAHA asking you, hey, where's your wingman? Y'all take it easy.